Before I begin my takeover review and give my thoughts on what I thought was a good takeover, I want to just get this out of the way right now. Yes, I was originally supposed to go live. That was the plan. There's a reason why now you're seeing this recorded video slash podcast, because I will be putting this out there in the audio platforms as well, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that stuff. I will be. Right now, if you can tell, I feel like crap right now. Work today was a train wreck. It really, really was. In case you guys don't know, I have two jobs. My second job is that I work at a supermarket. And any of you that work in retail, especially in the grocery stores, what have you, know, hey, it's the first of the month. And also factor in that, hey, everyone's coming in there with their food stamps, their coupons, what have you. If they're single moms, they're going in there with their child support cards and all that shit. A fucking train wreck today. And then also factor in that, hey, we are still in this pandemic. Believe it or not, here in Jersey, the numbers are going back up again. People don't want to wear their mask. People don't want to do social distance. A lot of these filthy animals want to throw house parties and hotel parties with large gatherings and shit, and people are not wearing masks. I see it on my Instagram stories. I see the shit. It's disgusting. I know that the Nelk boys were here at the Jersey Shore a couple of weeks ago and all that stuff, and it was in the news. Fucking disgusting. It's a fucking train wreck. This sucks, but at the same time, I hear in the news that, hey, New Jersey is handling the pandemic better than most states. But yet, all this is happening. But yes, I just feel like crap. Work today was a fucking drag. But you know what? At the same time, I'll just say this right now. And if I had a nickel for every time someone were to tell me, thank you for coming into work, by this point right now, I would be a fucking millionaire. And listen, I hear that all the time at my job from customers. Oh, thank you for coming into work. Because listen, I get it. Working in retail in a pandemic, I get it. It's tough. It's annoying. You gotta have the mask on, wear the gloves, and all that stuff. And believe me, working with a mask is fucking annoying. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? And don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. I fucking appreciate it. But when you hear it every day, it's like, okay, I get it. All right, awesome. Thank you for saying thank you. You're welcome, if you will, okay? Like the other day, this one lady kept saying thank you for coming into work. Like, if I did a drinking game, for how many times, for every time she said thank you for coming into work, I take a shot and I would have been trashed at work. It's like she said a sentence at the end of every sentence, thank you for coming to work. How much is this? Oh, thank you for coming to work. Can you put this on my debit card? Thank you for coming to work. And listen, again, I appreciate it. I fucking appreciate it. I had this other dude tell me the other day, oh, you know, hey, man, you're on the front line right now of this pandemic. And listen, again, I want to stress this right now again. I understand working in retail during a fucking pandemic can be very stressful. It's bad enough that we deal with people and their bullshit. It's bad enough that this whole rule mentality of the customer's always right. Fuck you. Big fuck you, if you will, from all of us that work in retail to you, the customer, okay? It's fucking annoying. I get it. But when I think of the quote unquote frontline, I think of the medical staff, doctors, nurses that are working around the clock during this pandemic, trying to get people to, I guess, get well and all that stuff. Here's the difference, though, between people that work in retail versus people that are working in the medical field during the pandemic. The people that work in retail, like me and many other cashiers, what have you, whether it's a supermarket, whether it's the mall, what have you, or the food industry, what have you, we get to go home at the end of our shifts. That's the difference. The people that work in the medical field, They don't know if they get to go home the next once the shift ends. They don't know. Some of them stay for days in, what have you. That's just the way that it is. And again, too, when I hear all this thank you stuff, I appreciate it. But at the same time, it is what it is. And again, as you can tell, I just feel like crap. My shoulders are just hurting right now. But it is what it is. Here we are. And at the same time, I see all these other YouTubers, all these other podcasters right now that are going live now on YouTube once the show's off the air, which is now the new norm. Believe it or not, that is the fucking new norm now. It's crazy to think that, holy shit, a year ago or so, a lot of these YouTubers and podcasters weren't even going live once the show went off the air. There was a few of us that were. At this point, when I see all these YouTubers, all these podcasters going live once the show's off the air, whether it's WWE, whether it's AEW, whether it's Impact, what have you, it's a fucking train wreck, a giant clusterfuck. So at this point, let these dorks go live with their shows, what have you. I'll just do a record, get it out of the way, what have you. Don't get me wrong, yes, around the point, we'll be back to its normal base. Hopefully next week, depending how I'm feeling, really. That's the big issue as well, depending how I'm feeling and all that stuff. I just had to get this out there. I really, really did. And it feels good. I'm not going to deny that. It feels fucking amazing. Anyway, hey dorks, this is your NXT Takeover 31 review. My overall thoughts on what was NXT Takeover 31. It is October 4th. It is Sunday. It is 10:50 p.m. Takeover 31 ended almost an hour with some change ago. And here I am recording this. And again, I will put this up on the audio platforms as well. In case you're wondering, yes, I will. I thought overall, like I mentioned in the beginning of this whole review, that Takeover, I thought was a good show. It's a good Takeover. Now, if we're going to compare this to previous Takeovers, it's not the same. It really, really is not. The big thing that favored takeovers more than anything back in the day were the crowd reaction. The energy of the crowd in the buildings, what have you, whenever it was like a big major weekend for WWE and people were just losing their shit. Take it from me, I've attended numerous takeovers over the years. So I remember that energy, all that stuff, right? Now, hey, whether it's Full Sail, whether it's the Performance Center, you have the trainees, now all that stuff, it's just not the same. However, speaking of Full Sail and the Performance Center, NXT is no longer taking place at Full Sail University. They've moved to the Performance Center, and now they're calling it the Capital Wrestling Center, which I honestly gotta say, I love the new set. It feels like a television set. It's crazy to think that same Performance Center was the same spot where WrestleMania 36 was, night 1 and night 2. That's where they were doing Raw and SmackDown during the beginning of the pandemic and some of these pay-per-views. It's a completely different look. It feels like, hey, I'm watching wrestling in a television studio. They're calling it, again, the Capital Wrestling Center. It has that vibe of the PC still, where the fans are the quote-unquote trainees standing still, right? Behind the plexiglass that they have some fence over it and stuff to give it that like dark underground feel. They also have elements of the Thunderdome, where there's a giant screen around the building, or on the fucking little Performance Center, where people are popping up on little screens as if you were in the Thunderdome. So I like the fact that it has that vibe. They could have easily, when you think about it, right? They could have easily taken all of this and placed it in the performance at the fucking Thunderdome, at the Amway Center. But I like the fact that it feels different. It's something that fits NXT. And I look forward to seeing, again, we had a takeover in this new environment. I look forward to seeing now NXT television in the upcoming weeks under the new Capital Wrestling Center. Again, it gives it that dark edge that you're not supposed to know about almost. But I asked you guys this question. Your thoughts on TakeOver 31. What did you like? What did you not like? Your favorite match on the show? And overall, your thoughts on the Capitol Wrestling Center. Or if not, let me know on Twitter at HeelSteven, or let me know in the comment threads below of this video. Also, while you're at it, dorks, hit that subscribe button. Don't be a piece of shit. Hit the subscribe button down below. Also, while you're at it, don't be a low-life sack of shit as well. Also, hit that fucking thumbs up button too. And share the video, alright? Or I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna give you a fucking noogie Uncle Ted style. Beesh. Alright, let's get this fucking review going, alright? So, again, I love all that I mentioned earlier. So, we kicked things off with the North American Championship match because they mentioned that on the kickoff show, that the North American title match was kicking off the show. Damian Priest defending his championship versus Johnny Takeover, Johnny Gargano, which surprised me to why that match kicked off the show. I would have had the Cruiserweights kick off the show, but that's just me. But nonetheless, I thought this was a very kick-ass opener between Gargano and Damian Priest. They both went back and forth. There's a moment in the match that I thought, okay, they went WrestleMania 25, Taker and Shawn, where Damian Priest goes for a dive on the outside. And again, Damian Priest is not a cruiserweight by no means at all, okay? But he can do all these maneuvers, right? And he dives off to the outside, right? And Gargano grabs two people, like security guards, whatever, but personnel, if you will, right? And Priest lands on these guys. And Gargano escapes. No pun intended. You know what it reminded me of? It's like if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day, right? Whenever someone's going to attack a monster, at the last second before the attack would happen, the duelist would hit like a fucking magic card or a trap card. That's what it felt like to me in that very spot. If you get what I'm saying, awesome. If you don't get what I'm saying, you're a piece of shit. But it is what it is. I love you all anyway. Again, it's just good back and forth match. Eventually, it was all said and done, though. Damian Priest won, hit the reckoning for the 1, 2, 3, and still your North American champion, Damian Priest, which I thought made sense. At the same time, there are people that were saying, oh, but you know, Gargano and Candice LeRae, they're doing this whole power couple thing. It would make sense if they both walked out of TakeOver with, you know, coming out as champions. But no, at the same time, Gargano was already the NXT champion. Gargano was already North American champion, tag team champion, the first Triple Crown champion in NXT history. Okay? What else is there for him to do? Now I ask this question: what's next for Gargano? What's next? Where does he go from here? 205 Live? Main roster? Thunderdome? I don't fucking know. Friday Night SmackDown? Monday Night Raw? Main event? I don't know. But him losing is fine with me. I thought, again, Priest winning made sense. You want to throw him in there in his run as champion, a big name. And Gargano, like I mentioned, with all these accolades, he's a big name. So good on him for that. And now let's see what do they do now with Damian Priest in his run now as the North American champion. From there, we go on to Kushida versus Velveteen Dream. And my bad. Let me take that back. No, we had Marty McFly versus Doc Brown for the Battle of the DeLorean. I said that because Velveteen Dream was dressed as Doc Brown and Kushida looked like Marty McFly. And in case you guys don't know, yes, Marty, my bad, Marty Vic Newsman. Kushida is a big fan of Back to the Future. If you ever watch his stuff from Japan, a lot of his moves were based off Back to the Future. His ring attire was based off Marty McFly, right? Wrestle Kingdom 11 did this whole thing where his entrance was literally Back to the Future, where I think it was, Taguchi, right? He dressed up as Doc Brown, bringing in Kushida, right, with the fucking DeLorean and all that stuff. So again, I loved how they did that little spin, the little thing where, again, Dream, knowing that Kushida's a fan of Back to the Future, he dressed up as Doc Brown with the gray hair. Almost, he dyed his hair gray, the yellow gloves, the white pants, and all that stuff. I thought it was very, very catchy, right? I thought this match, for what it was worth, you know, it's Kushida basically beating the living hell out of Velveteen Dream. That's basically what this match was. And everyone was enjoying it on social media. I can imagine why. And even to think about it, I personally thought, as I was watching this match, okay, Kushida is giving, Velveteen Dream is taking a beating. So I'm going to assume he's going to escape with a win. And no, it didn't happen. Kushida locked in the hoverboard lock. And there's a moment where Dream does the Dream Valley Driver. Right? And again, Kushida still had that, the submission move still locked in. Mind you as well, early in the match, Dream did the Purple Rainmaker elbow drop from off the top rope, got a near fall. When I saw that, I knew this was going to happen. I knew that Kushida was going to win. But yeah, Kushida did make Dream tap out. And when the match was over, Kushida put Dream in the armbar to cause more pain. They did the whole bell ring thing and all that stuff. Again, you're establishing that Kushida is a badass, has this badass side to him. And if you're a fan of Kushida, you'll be happy about this. At the same time, if you feel that Velveteen Dream is a piece of shit and all that stuff, based on what popped up on the internet, then you love this too. Either way, you're smiling. You're fucking smiling right now. There's a grin on your fucking face right now and all that stuff. So there's that. From there, we go on to the Cruiserweight Championship match. Santos Escobar of Legado del Fantasma defending his Cruiserweight Championship, the purple belt, versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. I love this match. To me, this was that dark horse match on the show, if you will. These two guys went out there, they went back and forth. A lot of good near falls here. You had the involvement of Legado del Fantasma, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza. They got involved in this match too. And somewhere in this fucking match, I guess a new recruit, Ashanti Adonis, got involved to help out Isaiah Swerve Scott. And again, there's a moment in the match where I thought they had me. And I think they had everyone too. They gave you the idea that, holy shit, Isaiah Swerve Scott is going to get the win, right? It's over. Oh my God, he's finally going to win, right? He's like a fucking, like a running knee into this other move, and then they did the 450 splash. You thought once that happened, it's over with, new champion. And what do you know? Raul Mendoza kicked out. My bad, not Raul Mendoza. Santos Escobar. It is what it is, bro. Kicked out. And I'm like, what the fuck, yo? Because again, they had me. And again, this was so amazing. Good back and forth match. My only thing that sucked about all this is the fact that, one, there was no crowd. Like a real crowd from previous takeovers. Because they would have been ape shit for all of this. They would have been chanting, this is awesome, this is wrestling. Which, by the way, I've heard a lot of this on this show. Wrestling, professional wrestling. I heard that term thrown out there throughout the entire show too, by the way. And all that stuff. Eventually, though, when it was all said and done, my bad. There I go again. Santos Escobar, they're on the apron, right? And I guess Santos Escobar pushes Isaiah Swerve Scott, and the back of his head lands on the exposed, there's a steel on the turnbuckle, right? That supports the turnbuckle. He hits his head on the steel. And then after that, he hit his finisher, and he delivered a double underhook facebuster for the 1-2-3. So Santos Escobar retains the Cruiserweight title. Again, my only critique here is that spot where Swerve had the 450 splash and got the near fall. That should have been it, and I would have been fine with that too. And also the fact there was no crowd for it. But again, this was fucking amazing. Good back and forth, and it's cool to see the Cruiserweight title. You know, I hope from after this, it gets the recognition, all that stuff, and all. And again, like I mentioned before, believe it or not, this was the first time that the Cruiserweight title was defended on a takeover. Let that sink in too. Shame on you, WWE. Shame on you for that. but it is what it is. We find out as well that I guess they're bringing back Halloween Havoc. Yeah, they're bringing it back. So there's that. From there, we get the NXT Women's Championship match. Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. I thought it was a good match. Going back and forth. This whole thing where, hey, Candice LeRae gonna do this the Gargano way. It's funny too because early in the night, Johnny Gargano, who's the husband of Candice LeRae, lost to Damian Priest. So there was that too. Again, what I liked about this too is, again, there's the back and forth, like I mentioned before, the near falls here. And again, there's a part of me that thought, okay, if Johnny Gargano doesn't win the championship tonight, which he did not, then maybe his wife will. And I would have been fine with that too. No issue whatsoever. And I thought we were going to get that when we got not one ref bump, but two ref bumps. So there's a moment in this match where Candice locks in, I guess, the Gargano escape. And Io gets to the rope. And as she's breaking the hole, because the referee's counting, right? I guess Io or Candice elbows the referee. And the referee goes flying. And then again, he takes another bump on the outside. So while all this is happening, right? Johnny Gargano runs to the ring with the referee's shirt on. Do the count. Does a fast count guy to kick out. He goes for the championship. He grabs the title, the women's title, that is, right? Has it behind. The referee turns around and sees Gargano with the referee's shirt. And he yells to Gargano, "That's my shirt. What are you doing with my shirt? Give me back my shirt." Not realizing that the referee is already wearing a referee's shirt, but he wants Gargano to give back his shirt. You know, again, in WWE, a lot of the referees are fucking up finishes to matches. I think you should also be giving your referees, I want to say, a mental test, if you will, or start giving these guys like a freaking pop quiz. Seriously, it's one thing they fuck up finishes, but to not remember what they're wearing or what they have on already is ridiculous. So that all that happened too. Canada's hit Io Shirai with the championship for a near fall. But eventually it was all said and done. Io fucking Shirai, she basically got the win. She went for the moonsault off the top rope and got the win. So she is still the women's champion. After the match was over with, right, we see Toni Storm, who popped up on the screen. Tony's back, if you will, right? Saying that she is now part of NXT. She's back. It's Tony time. And I guess she's coming for Io Shirai. And then after this, we see the person in the motorbike driving around Full Sail, right? The big reveal is happening today, right? We saw a couple of weeks, these vignettes on NXT and all that stuff. A former champion. And when I saw the fact that, hey, all this is happening after Io Shirai won, I already knew it was Ember Moon. I was saying Bo Dallas, but I don't even think it was Bo, obviously. But when all that happened, they get to the stage area. She takes off the helmet, and it's Ember Moon. Ember Moon is back, also NXT. Again, Ember Moon was someone who a lot of people thought was not going to come back, considering her injury and all that stuff. And more importantly, she's back, but also the fact that it was even cool about this, she's back now on NXT, which is awesome. Fucking awesome. Good for her. What this does too, it does add that a little oomph to that women's division, if you will. Some key names there, if you will, right? Even though on the kickoff show, you saw Rhea Ripley telling Triple H that, hey, she wants next. So again, all these matches we can see now, right? Ember Moon versus Io Shirai. I guess Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. Toni Storm versus Ember Moon. The list goes on. All these matches you can make now. So there's that. And then we get to the main event. Adam Cole. God damn it. Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly for the NXT Championship. I liked the beginning, the little pre-match thing where you see O'Reilly walking into the ring and you see the members of the Undisputed Era wishing him luck, what have you. And they play the music in the background from when they put the cage down and shit. I like that, right? And this match overall, I felt like it was your prototypical Ring of Honor main event. A lot of chain grappling, a lot of wrestling locks, if you will, near falls, hard hitting. Yes, these two guys beat the fuck out of each other in this match. Near falls, like I mentioned, they were both bleeding from the mouth, if you will. But again, this was, your prototypical Ring of Honor main event from back in the day. Only difference is now this is on a bigger budget, if you will. Somewhere out there, ROH Styles 23 was fucking losing his shit. But at the same time, I remembered, hey, ROH Styles 23 has activated a magic card and the special ability, and now he is AEW Styles fucking 9000. Okay? So there's that. I kid. Okay? But again, I thought this was a very good main event. And the idea, hey, could Kyle O'Reilly win the championship? That was the question here, right? And also, was Adam Cole going to get involved? Was Adam Cole going to cost Kyle the championship? I was saying that in my predictions. I was saying that leading up to TakeOver. How I think I even said it last week, this past Wednesday on NXT, on Twitter. We're about to get the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly feud. Which again, if you've not seen in Ring of Honor, if you haven't, you should give it a watch. They had classics back in the day, right? But that's no here or there because they didn't give you that. I was expecting that, but no. Finn Balor got a clean win off Kyle O'Reilly. Hit the coup de grace for the 1-2-3. But again, this was a very good back and forth match. But what this also did, it has showed that, hey, Kyle O'Reilly, it just reminded everyone, again, Kyle O'Reilly is also a very good singles wrestler. And I do think down the road, him as NXT champion, I am all for. Hell, even him as the North American champion, I am all for. Hell, once he comes up to the main roster, because you know what's going to happen. That main roster move is going to happen down the road. Him as the Intercontinental Champion, I am all for. Eventually, if it happens, of course. So, the match ends. They're embracing. Again, both Balor and O'Reilly beat the fuck out of each other, like I mentioned before. They embrace. And the next thing you know, in the crowd, you see Ridge Holland. And on his shoulders, Adam Cole, who's been beaten up, what have you. So they do the whole lower third, and they see Ridge Holland with Adam Cole, and you see the members of the Undisputed Era, the rest, that being Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish coming out to check up on Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly. Finn Balor's in the ring. They're wondering what the fuck happened, all that stuff. And there was that. And the showing off the air. Again, I thought this was a very good takeover. I thought, honestly, this takeover was the work rate takeover. And if you're into work rate, this takeover was for you. Hands down, this takeover was for you. But more importantly, what this does, hey, it makes me look forward to NXT this Wednesday. Even though it's competing with AEW and their 30 years of Jericho anniversary special, all that stuff, I'm probably gonna have two screens at the same time. I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. I said at first that kind of sucks, but it is what it is, if you will. But again, I thought the whole Capitol Wrestling Center is amazing. The new setup is fucking amazing. And I look forward to seeing what else comes from NXT. Again, if you watch TakeOver 31, your thoughts on the show, give me your thoughts down below in the comment thread. Let me know on Twitter at HeelSteven. I will be also posting this as an audio format over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that stuff. So you can listen and also download on the go. All right. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening, what have you. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. And don't be a piece of shit. While you're at it, give it a big old thumbs up and share it through social media. You dorks are fucking awesome. I love all of you. And as always, hate, comment, and subscribe. I did say also earlier that I am going to be planning on relaunching a Twitch. I'm going to be doing FIFA 21 gameplay and as well as PES 21 gameplay as well. I'll give more details into that later on. But again, like I mentioned before, as always, hate, comment, and subscribe. I am Steve. This has been another installment of Around the Point. Peace out, dorks.